How you doing? Today we have two saws. I like building saws in pairs if I've got pairs. I've actually got two pairs of the same thing. I think I probably got three pairs. This is Lumberjackson's 372. It is a beautiful saw. It is a nice saw. We're going to break this all the way down today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do, like I said, two. Here's another one. This is Train Grows 372. Another nice saw. Beautiful saw. When I break them down back to back, I do one, get all the parts put in bags, and back in a box, label everything. Break the other one down. That way when you're working along, you do one set of cases, then you do the other set of cases, on and on and on. Now that seems like a long approach, don't it? It's not. It works perfect. It works for me. Okay, I have one more that I've been for a year trying to get to. It's a saw the channel's building for a guy in Australia, Bill Block. I'll show you his saw. His is in the very next group. And I'm going to build a 372 for 10 man, but I might slip his in. But I have another one that to do. I'm going to do two pairs. So I'll get this pair done, and then we're going to flip over to two stihls. We're going to build an 046 and an 044. Then go right back into a pair of Huskies. I think it'd be more fun for me and more interesting, eh? But this is in the lineup for my friend Bill Block. Yes, this is it. This is a nice saw. I robbed the muffler off of it. I had to have it, but we're going to do something special for this one anyway. So we're going to be building some mufflers. I think we're going to build a couple, three here right directly. Been saying that, but man, January and into February been so darn cold. I got to do them in the bay over there. There's no heat over there. So I don't like to do mufflers in the absolute cold. You know the deal, guys. So let me put this back on the shelf. That little 61 we did the 272 top end on. That's a good saw. I like that. That's real nice. Well, I'm gonna just put her along here for a few minutes, get the handle off, top cover, stuff like that, and I'll be right back. You know, when you've done as many of these 372s, 371s that I've done, it just becomes amazing. They're a lovely saw, but I tell you, the guys that run these are a little hard on them in this area. So they'd come in after about 2 years or 3 years of good service, and they were pretty wore out. And this was starting way back, you know, what, 97 or something, whenever the 371 came out. But lovely saw. You get where you know every nut and bolt, every little change they made. I can't say for sure how many of these I've done. All I can say is every darn one of them. I'll guarantee you that. Probably near 1,000, I'm going to say. Near. I still enjoy them. But sometimes it's nice to get a break. Never did near as many stihls as I did Husqvarnas. It seemed like the stihl guys, they either treated them better or didn't do as much logging or some darn thing. I don't know. That hat wasn't in that Mr. Jackson. The little, I got it. I got one. I'll put one in for you, buddy. These, honestly, don't take much time to take apart. They're, if you want to start with an easy saw to work with, quite honestly, I don't care if you buy a Farmer Tech Holtzforma kit, you know, build one on one of them, or if you have a 372. These are all of the easiest. This is the easy stuff. You ought to build 2 or 3 Husqvarnas of some sort before you try stihl. That way you understand kind of what the concepts are. Stihl's a little more to it. Same parts, you just look different is all. But there's a little more to it, getting them apart. I do have a saw I want to show you. I'll tell you a little bit about it while I'm working. Here in a minute. I thought somebody was at the door. I don't know what that was I heard. But Mr. Brock Bradley from BRA Farms, quite a while ago, him and I had been talking. He's the one that sends us all them Samara bars and all that nice chain. Well, I remember at the time telling him, I says, yeah, geez, they want me, you know, he likes 44 stihls. I love them. They're iconic. They really are. He said, well, if you want to build me one, maybe I'll send you one at some point. I actually forgot all about it. I really honestly did. So in the mail come 2 big boxes. And they were packed. And in it, the one box, there was a set of cases and a new crank and bearings and seals and stuff, gaskets, stuff like that, for a 12mm 044. I opened that one first, so I didn't get the whole impression. He left a little note in it. Should open box number 1 first. That was what I should have did. He says, this is for whatever you want to do with it. If you want to build a saw to sell or build one for you. He said, this is yours. Just do whatever you want with it. I said, well, geez, that's kind of nice. I mean, here's a guy that's gave the channel a lot of stuff. A lot. You take care of them people. You know, because they're taking care of you. And he's a friend. I build saws for friends. He's a friend. He's a good guy. So I opened the second box. And it had a 10mm wrist pin. The first generation of the stihl 044. Heck, I'll just show it to you. Let me get it. I'll show you. And this is the kind of guy he is. He sent me a bunch of chain. Yes, he did, red, all blue. And a nice note. That's personal, but I read it. And here is his saw. It needs building. We'll do a ground up build on this because of the age of that. I don't trust nothing in the bottom end. This saw has seen work, trust me. So, we're going to build a 10mm. These are really serious saws when they're done. They're really wind out hard. They do. And they got good power. These are nice saws. And he sent right along the steel gasket sets with it, which he said he wasn't sure if they were for 10mm. I think they're the same. They're the exact same. If there's a difference, I'll know by the time I get there. And we'll put the steel gaskets in his saw. So, anyways, that's the kind of guy Brock Bradley at BRA Farms is. He really, I'm going to get a card or something. I'll show you his phone number. If you want bars and chains, and probably a few other things, I'll get a card. I'll get his number so you can get a hold of him. That may be important because, like I said, I like doing business with people that are prepared to do business. And he is a good egg. He really is. I've got a few people that I love doing business with. Interestingly enough, which I expected this fully, black coil. Yeah, factory OEM black coil. That's a nice thing to have. I've used the blue coils on these builds with the big bore, which we will do a big bore with a pop-up. I think old Logger Jackson's probably strong enough to pull over a high compression saw, so I'm going to give it the business for him. And it'll be an interesting build, it really will. I just got to get all the little bits off. Do it one thing at a time. I like to get the nut off the flywheel and the clutch off before that I actually take cylinder off. Because then I got compression. I can, it's got some. It's got enough to get it off. So that's kind of an order of things, And if you notice, what I do is I put all the parts from the outside of the saw in one bag. If you're not familiar with the saw you're working on, doesn't matter what it is, go ahead and break it down. Label your bag when you're putting the bolts. This is for this part, this is for that part, on and on like that. Just do that. Little clip. I'm surprised that didn't go flying, seeing how I did that on camera, eh? Yeah, absolutely amazing. I gotta get my pliers. If you know you're gonna work on saws a bunch, like this little tool right here. It's a game changer. What it does, it goes in on your clutch like that. You just as that, see, doesn't that save a lot of fighting, guys? Oh man, does it ever. And that goes in this little bag. So now what I gotta do is, I'm gonna go ahead and break that chain brake apart. You know what? Yeah, I gotta take it apart. I'm gonna do it right now. It doesn't take that long. And if I get it done, then it's done. The oil pump isn't leaking in the saw. I don't know why. Most of them leak. I've had new ones leak even, but if you got OEM parts, a lot of times you're better off. And this is all OEM. It's a saw actually is in remarkable shape. It really is. This will be a nice one to build. As you know, I don't work on new saws here. I mean, if a friend brings one, yeah, it's a puzzle. I'll work through it. And I get them. I get them done. But I don't. At my age, I'm 61. I get to work on what I want. I enjoy with these saws, the older saws. If it's 20 years old, I love it. You can't always get the parts that you want for them, or it's not justifiable. You know what I mean? That's why we use a lot of aftermarket parts. I do anyway. And I use primarily highway. You guys know that. When I first started this channel and I was showing that, I wasn't gonna not. That was a couple years ago. Well, I'll tell you what, and it's in the last 4 years, Highway has really stepped up with their product. They build nice stuff. They really do. Real nice stuff. I have to have a bigger bag now. So, I use it. Have great success with it, too. I really do. This big spring coming out of here, I'm not going to get it where I can show you, but my little thing, my deal with this is, I just get a screwdriver down in it, like that, and just pop that up out of there. See that? And you just kind of go from there. I just got to get the rest of the way up. I like talking to you guys. You know what it's like for me? Well, I was telling somebody, I think my buddy Slammer there, that when I first started this, it was really hard for me to work on saws and talk to you guys at the same time. If you look at my really old videos, early videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. Don't lose these pieces. They can be difficult to find. Ask me how I know. Every little while I lose something. The fortunate thing is I've got such a supply of parts out of damaged saws that just wasn't rebuildable, wasn't repairable, that I can generally make out pretty good. I can find what I need. And then when I sweep my floor, before I sweep my floor, I got to go around on my hands and knees and pick all the stuff that I keep dropping. You guys know me long enough that I got dropsy. I got bad dropsy. And the old hands, you know, they just do what they do. And we just kind of work with it, you know what I mean? I probably won't get the whole teardown on video unless I rather pause it a bunch, which I may do. Or save something for tomorrow. But it'd be nice to get this one broke down and things going in the right direction. I'll get the cylinder, the parts I'm going to put into this, and we'll just shine on. That's what we'll do. If you've never took a saw apart before, everybody's got a cell phone with a camera on it. When you get to certain points, either make yourself little short videos, like this little booger. That goes into your seal. You see the little taper on it? You know how that goes, you know? This little oil line, it's got a little brass oil line that comes out of there. Where does that go, you know? Yeah, I use one of these. Just kind of hook it. And I just rotate that up, you know. And then from there, the oil pump's supposed to come out of there. They're generally stuck a little, so you just kind of manipulate them around a bit. Don't put a lot of pressure on them. They won't stand it. Okay, it's starting to budge. There we go. See that? Don't bend this tube. You take your oil pump out after you got your chain brake assembly apart, and you put it back in before you put your chain brake assembly. Otherwise, you'll think you're going to get that tube in here, you're going to bend that all to heck, and you're going to have trouble. I will guarantee. Now, here's another neat thing about this. Your oil pickup out of your tank is right here right now. I think somebody moosed on my long pliers. So they're not closing good. I didn't do that. Did I? No. I know I didn't. I only use these for things I gotta reach long and grab. So, there we go. Just gotta get it out of there. There, you can see it's coming out of this little hole right here. That's what it is. Little hole right there. That just dingle-dangly thing. Before I put the saw together, I'll make sure that's good and this is clean. Because sometimes your oiling issue is this is gunked up. I soak them, take them apart. They actually come apart, and I clean it. Yeah, they kind of screw apart. If you can't get it apart, don't break it. Just soak it and blow through it, and get it that way. Might as well get this dog, seeing as I'm right here looking at the dog. Oh, that one's moosed right in there, Chad. It didn't vibrate loose, did it? he's got the big dogs like you see on the 395s on this. I don't actually run big dogs for me, but I'll tell you what, in some of the softwoods we got with that heavy bark, it is nice to have. It's nice to have the bigger dogs. It really is. And, but I don't dog in a lot unless when I'm boar cutting, I'll dog right in. Then I got real control. We're going to get some cutting videos here. I can see it. Today's going to be 38. Yeah, you noticed I got my ears lowered, didn't I? Said yesterday the weather's got to break for I'll get a haircut. Well, guess what? It's broke. Hopefully it don't get down. It won't get down as cold as it's been. It won't. So I'll be all right. I think I'm all right. Okay, this is the exciting part here. What I got to do is pull this little hose through. Start by pushing it. Sometimes I got to get that cylinder started up before I get that impulse hose. Oh, this one's coming. Just pull it through my little rubber here. That's perfect torque. That was perfect. Get these little... We're not far from done. It only takes 5 minutes to take the tank off, maybe. Made me grunt just a little bit. You guys have been getting a lot of phone calls from telemarketers on your cell phones. I rarely use my cell phone. I really do. And I never give that cell phone number out on any kind of form or anything. I really don't. So I don't know if they got a random way of doing it or what. Well, let me get the rest of these bolts out. Okay, I took a minute and popped them out. I'm ready to pull this apart. There we go. Now I gotta get them bolts, which I got. Put them in my bag. Well, that cylinder isn't terrible. That's workable. But, if you can see, right here, that ring is pinched. Maybe I ought to get you closer so you can see it. That ring is pinched right in right there. Okay. I know what does that is he worked on this cylinder. He did a little port work. And he missed a burr, is what it looks like. That, actually, there's no burr there, Chad. I'll tell you what happened. You had something in your muffler. It got sucked back in the saw and pinched that ring. That's exactly what happened. So, no big deal. No big deal at all. There's damage in the cylinder. We're going to do a new cylinder, guaranteed. See, we got a base gasket here. Okay, here's the test of the pudding. Boy, them bearings feel really nice. And I know they're OEM. I know it. I don't think it really needs bearings in the bottom end. When they're nice and smooth, I mean real smooth, you feel nothing. That's a good set of bearings. Rod's beautiful. I know we got everything going for us with this saw. So, hey, this could get real interesting real fast, guys. I'm going to tell you that. Don't be afraid to pull these cases. They're really easy. You get the tool. You get it from Husqvarna. I think just aftermarket, eBay item. Maybe, I don't know exactly where I got it, but so you have a big end, small end. That goes on your flywheel side. This one is for pulling the other side, okay? So what I'm going to do is set up on the flywheel side real quick. I'm going to show you how this works. It's the only way to do this. So let me get it set up. Now, what the principle of this is, I am actually pulling that case in its own right off that crank on this side. And generally when you want to do something kind of cool on video, it doesn't generally work out, does it? See that? It's already popping loose. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. You know, when you got something else on your mind and then you try to make a video, you'll do some really crazy things. We have to use a case splitter. This is putting the bearing, or the pulling it back together. That's what. I do have something on my mind, and I'll share that with you in a minute, and I'll explain. Okay, so anyway, you see what these case tools are. See that? Just boom, boom, boom. When that starts to come, all you're doing is looking for even spread here and here. And it doesn't look too bad. Just like that. Okay, there's one side. Let me get set up and we'll do the other side. Okay, we flipped over. Now we're pulling them off the other side. See, I'm just pushing that crank right out of there, see? Just that easy. So, we're done with that. And when we go to assemble it, I'll show you how to assemble it. But we won't use a splitter. We'll just go ahead and use the assembly tools like I got out. Okay. Nice crank in this. Do your end wiggle. You expect a little bit that direction, but push-pull. That's what you're looking for. Nice crank. Real nice crank in that. That goes in its own special bag. This gets soaked, cleaned, lubed before assembly. Okay, guys, all we got to do now is pull the seals, heat the cases, push the bearings out, heat the cases, drop the bearings in. I'm not going to do that today because I want to get train saw to the same point because I'm actually flowing these cases, which you've seen me do that before, but I'll give you the highlights and probably a little more about matching the cylinders to the cases. I'll probably give you a little bit of that. And we'll go from there. Let's just see where this all goes, huh? Okay. So, this is going to be about it for today's video. I'm really glad you're here for this. I'm really excited about this pair of builds. They're exactly the same build. Two people are going to get the same saw. And they're going to be big bores with pop-ups. The problem is, and I want you to think about this, I'm using a 272 pop-up piston and a 372. So we're going to chuck it in a little lathe. We got to do a little trimming. But what we'll get good compression. I know Chad said, just sky's the limit, do what you want. I got to find out how much compression that Train Girl wants. Train, if you're watching, they're hard to pull. Do you want it a little easier to pull? We can do that. Same thing with you, Chad. Okay, looking forward to doing this tomorrow. I know it's raining at 54 degrees. I'm going to spend a little time in the morning holing out this shop. And I will be in here making more videos. This is what it's all about when the weather breaks. It ain't just about haircuts, guys.